I think that John Cornyn was the hostage that the president could shoot politically. He's mad at the whole conference. He's mad that they haven't gotten rid of the filibuster. He's mad that they left town. I think
I guess my point is, they're not actually doing anything.
They left town.
You know?
Wow.
I mean,
Look,
honestly,
I do think it's sunk.
really
I do think it's sunk the reconciliation bill. It should be a big win for Republicans. Right. It should be us being strong on border security when Democrats are weak, and instead it's been totally derailed. But I'll go a step further.
You would guys,
Abby, I'll go a step further.
Republicans would impeach a Democratic president who did even one of the things that we discussed.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. In today's video, Abby Phillip takes on Mark Short during a heated exchange on Newsnight. This debate goes beyond politics. It's about whether public office should serve the people or benefit those in power. When government contracts, family interests, and billions of dollars are involved, tough questions are bound to follow. Let's get into it.
I didn't expect the corruption to be quite as, widespread as it's been, and like the self-dealing and the lining of his and his family's pockets. Like that's been a little shocking.
That is so crazy. Imagine like somebody accused you of murder.
Yeah.
And it turns out you weren't guilty of that murder. And then you sue them and you go, you can never prosecute me for murder again.
It's really hard to take either one of them seriously for a number of reasons. The Donald Trump that is here today has been the same person. Like this is not, maybe the grift is different and maybe it's a little more polished and maybe it's more well executed, but he has been a grifter and a corrupt person his whole life. And so it's hard for me to believe in hearing them that this isn't another part of the scam. Like, oh, let me get off this train now because I see that he's a total train wreck. But you knew this before. There was plenty of reasons you didn't have to support him in 2024, and the same with Joe Rogan. Plenty of reasons. None of those reasons have changed. And so it's almost like they're saying, oh, I knew he was bad. I just didn't think he was that bad. Well, if you knew he was bad, that's enough reason not to support him and not to help further his campaign. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to take them seriously.
I almost feel, too, that what they're saying is I knew he was bad. I just didn't know he would be bad this loudly and embarrass all of us.
Correct.
Which we probably all at this table could have seen coming to some degree. But the way that he has enriched himself and his family over $1 billion just this year, I think, to his personal net worth, has been creative and various, right? Like through the courts, through crypto, there's nothing he won't try. And I think his base is starting to catch on that he is in no way working for them, but is working for himself and his family. And even these commentators are looking at a presidency that is coming to an end while they still have to further their media careers.
Well, Mark, I often point out, obviously, that Republicans made a whole career out of claiming that Joe Biden enriched himself off of his son's, whatever Hunter Biden was doing. We know that President Trump, his net worth has skyrocketed to $6.5 billion since he's been president. His sons are actively and openly in a whole slew of businesses that are regulated by the Trump presidency, cryptocurrency, gambling, or whatever you want to call it. Trump says it's not gambling, but it is prediction markets, real estate investments, Truth Social, all of it. I mean, how do you justify that if you're a Republican?
Abby, I remember being on the campaign in 2016, and one of the most electric lines was the "Drain the Swamp" rally cry at the various rallies. I think American voters elected Donald Trump to clean it up. They viewed that Hillary Clinton and the Clinton machine was corrupt. I think it helped in 2020 2024 that the Biden family, I think, had taken advantage of taxpayers, with Hunter making money off the communist Chinese and making money off his paintings.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Let's be clear. If politicians shouldn't profit from public office, that rule should apply to everyone. It can't depend on party affiliation. The concern raised by Abby and Jamal isn't about one deal. It's about a much larger web of business interests, investments, crypto ventures, and partnerships connected to people with political influence. Historically, presidents took steps to avoid even the appearance of conflicts of interest because public trust matters. The promise to drain the swamp appealed to voters who were tired of seeing insiders benefit while everyday Americans faced rising costs. But when wealthy political figures and their associates continue to prosper as families struggle with housing, healthcare, and inflation, that message starts to lose its impact. Trust in government is already at historic lows. Many Americans believe the system favors the rich and well-connected, regardless of political party. That's why these questions remain important. At the heart of the debate is whether political power is being used to serve the public or to create private advantages. When leaders condemn corruption one day and defend it the next, voters lose confidence in the entire system.
Well, we don't call it out as well, and as Donald Trump. I think when you see that basically it's not just it's Qatar that is funding much of their crypto investments, when you see that Jared is basically getting his money from Saudi Arabia, yet also simultaneously negotiating Middle East peace process if there's no conflict of interest there, that just today it came out that Kazakhstan has mining company that the Trump boys are invested in, and it's being backed up by Ex-Im Bank loans, taxpayer funded. I think Republicans need to be consistent on this, and I think it could be a big detriment to them come November.
I mean, would you agree, though, that what we're talking about is orders of magnitude difference? I mean, let's stipulate. Maybe it's millions of dollars that Hunter Biden made from his business dealings. We're talking about billions.
I think it's bad either way,
dollars
Abby. I don't
for
want to get into
Trumps.
comparison of one of them. I think it's bad either way, and I think Republicans are right to call it out with Hunter, and we should be calling it out this time too.
I will call it out as hypocritical because what Donald Trump just did last week was, in my opinion, and according to many who've looked at it, including the New York Times, which I know you probably don't agree with, the most corrupt decision that any president has ever made in history, in American history. I mean, first of all, he sued his own government for $10 billion. Then he negotiated a deal with himself, with his own lawyer, for $1.8 billion, but he has complete control over this with some fancy commission of people who his lawyer appoints and he can fire. That is the most corrupt, self-dealing, most farcical operation I've ever seen. And the idea that he was able to get away with it and Republicans won't call him out on it.
Let me just make sure. I just want to also just make a note of this. The Trump administration is also now actively, and they say this is not being done quietly, they are deleting indictments from January 6th convicts that are on government websites, literally erasing history, and doing it proudly so. Nothing quiet about it. We are proud to reverse the DOJ's weaponization under the Biden administration. This is about one man who has an ongoing child solicitation case and came to the Capitol armed with bear spray.
I'm not familiar with that case or many of those other ones, but I will.
But
I've already.
does it even matter? I mean,
Sure,
why are they erasing
most of those people shouldn't have been
history?
pardoned anywhere. At least the violent ones like Enrique Tarrio shouldn't have. But we'll go back to Keith's point. The Republican senators are standing up to this. That's why they left town. That's why they left town.
Whoa, they left town. Whoa.
And I think,
Big
by the
action
way,
there.
I think I don't like the $1.8 billion slush fund. I wouldn't like it if it was 1.8 billion pennies either. And I think most Republican senators feel the same way. That's the kind of thing you do through a court or through the legislative process, and not through a settlement. A judge could order it, but
What are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about it?
well, I mean, I can tell you right now that there is an extreme level of dissatisfaction within the Republican Senate conference. It's not just this. I think that's why John Cornyn got Trump's hire. I don't think it was anything about what John Cornyn had done or said himself regarding Donald Trump. I think that John Cornyn was the hostage that the president could shoot politically. He's mad at the whole conference. He's mad that they haven't gotten rid of the filibuster. He's mad that they left town. I think
but I guess my point is, they're not actually doing anything.
They left town. Wow.
I mean, and
Look, I do think it's sunk.
Really
I do think it's sunk. It sunk the reconciliation bill. It should be a big win for Republicans.
Right.
It should be us being strong on border security when Democrats are weak, and instead it's been totally derailed. But I'll go a step further.
You would guys,
Abby, I'll go a step further.
Republicans would impeach a Democratic president who did even one of the things that we discussed.
Abby, I'll go a step further. We keep talking about this as $1.8 billion. It's worse than that. It's 1.776
Right.
because some clown thought it'd be funny to say the people who rioted and assaulted police are equivalent to the people who founded our country 250 years ago and stood our country up. So I think it's even more nefarious than that. I think that this whole notion of 1.776 is some clever fool in the White House thinking this would be funny, and it's not. But I think it has already
I
derailed.
also want to say that 1.776 is our money, and this is a time at which people are feeling the squeeze. Gas is more expensive than it's been in recent memory. Our electricity bills are up. Places like Arizona, it is so hot, and we are spending more and more every year just to keep our houses cool. groceries are expensive and people are just barely making it by, and that is our money that he is making that decision about, right? He's saying that our hard-earned tax dollars should go to these January 6 riders. There's nothing patriotic about that, and it is insensitive in a moment like this when so many Americans are struggling.
Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Many Americans wonder why they're constantly told to cut back, while Washington always seems able to fund everything except the issues affecting everyday families. That's why debates like this go beyond party politics. Families are still dealing with high grocery prices, expensive housing, growing debt, and rising costs for basic necessities. In that environment, any proposal involving billions of taxpayer dollars is bound to attract attention, especially when there are questions about how the money will be distributed. The issue isn't whether people who were wronged deserve compensation. It's whether a politically influenced system can fairly decide who receives it. Historically, there have been established legal processes for resolving those claims, and many voters want transparency and accountability. Public trust continues to decline because many people feel that powerful politicians, corporations, and insiders play by different rules. At a time when affordability remains a top concern, voters are likely to question government spending that seems disconnected from the financial challenges they face every day.